Fine, guys. So let's begin. So today's lecture, we guys are going to look at the usages of static block, right? When do we use static block? We'll try to understand the usage of it now. So let me share the screen. Let's see this here. What happened? Okay, so we'll look at what do you mean by what is the usage of SIB, correct? Why we require this? See, again, the answer is same. Instance initialization block. Instance means object. Initialization, which means storing some value. Block. That opening and closing bracket is considered as a block. Correct? So we are initializing instance variables inside this block. Now, when to use this? When certain complex operations you're performing go with IIB, do not use normal initialization. Because we cannot do this in normal initialization. Same way, SIB are used for initializing static variables. Okay. So if you go here, observe, when I want to initialize static variables, I have a static variable, static int x is equal to 10. Instead of doing this, I'm going to create here a static block and I will initialize that variable here. Fine. But sir, then what is the difference? I can do that initialization directly here. Why you should initialize in this block? Again, if you want to perform certain complex initialization of static variables, upon performing certain operations you want to perform this initialization, then go with SIB. Like just yesterday's example. Let's say I have here another variable, static string condition. Fine. Now, if the value of x, if the value of x is equal to 10, then only I will initialize the condition variable to yes. Else, I will initialize that to what? I will initialize that to what? No. I'll initialize that to what? The condition variable, condition variable to what? No. We'll fix the typo, no problem. Okay. Everybody got this now? Yes. So for such things, we can use SIB blocks. See, SIB blocks will run before the main methods will execute. Keep that in mind. If I now run this main and if I print here SYSO a dot condition. So what is the value present in X? 10. So 10 equals 10. True. If true, what will condition variable print? Yes. Did you all get this, online students? Are you clear with this? Please tell me. Right? Online people clear with this? Yes. So please make a note of this program quickly. Make a note of this program quickly. Okay? Okay. Write down. So what is the advantage of SIB? To perform complex operations, we can use what? SIB. Okay, fine. Now, the next thing, okay, we people will continue further with the next concept of Java. But before I continue further, we will all install the required IDEs. Fine. We'll install the required softwares. We'll install the required IDEs. So some of the IDEs that I will cover in my course is first one, Eclipse. Now do not neglect this. Many students they neglect what? Eclipse. Some projects in the companies they would use Eclipse. It's not that people will not use Eclipse for development, right? So every tool exposure, okay, to that tool in order to write the program is important. So we'll start our journey with Eclipse. After Eclipse we will learn STS, okay. Then after we will also use IntelliJ, right, and VS Code. Fine. All of these tools during our training program we are going to make use of that. The project work I will be doing it on IntelliJ, right? We will do some amount of coding related to Spring Boot and Hibernate in STS. Java we will do it in Eclipse. When it comes to Angular we will use VS Code. Like this we will get exposure to all the tools. Okay. Now, in order to install an IDE, I've seen a lot of people, they try to practice programs on Notepad. Fine. Do not waste your time doing that. Nobody will use Notepad in the company to create a project and write the programs. Okay. So whatever we are going to do it will directly start with an IDE. So before you install an IDE, you will have to download JDK. You will have to download what? JDK, right? Now, JDK will help us to compile our Java program and run our Java program. See this here, right? This basic things you people can explore by using an AI tool, right? So you can just ask here, what is JDK? Fine. So you notice JDK is a Java development kit, okay, is a software development kit used to develop Java applications. It provides all necessary tools, libraries, and resources required to build, test, and run Java programs. This includes firstly a compiler. So we'll talk about what is a compiler. So compiler converts your Java files to zeros and ones. How, what, everything I will discuss about that in some time. The GRE is included in JDK, provides libraries and components necessary to run Java application. We'll discuss all these things. There is something called as Java Virtual Machine and there's something called as development tools. So when you install a JDK, first thing what JDK can do, whatever Java program I'm writing in English, it can compile that program into bytecode zeros and ones, and then we will run that particular program. It is something like this. In layman terms, for a beginner, see this here. Now this is where I'm going to write my Java code. So this Java code that I'm writing here, the Java code that I'm writing here now, I will create a file called as a.java. In this I'm writing some code, right? Let's say class A. And then inside this class A, some code I'm writing it, which is nothing but the source code. Now, this source code, we are going to compile that. We are going to what? Compile that. Now, when you compile that, what you get here is a bytecode, right? What do you get here is a bytecode. Bytecode is nothing but your a.class file, and bytecode means the code is present in zeros and ones. The code is present in what? Binary format, zeros and ones. So how this translation happens in high level manner? Okay, so you notice how, okay, Java code is converted to bytecode, correct? So we will explore this as well further. So what happens is the Java code is converted to bytecode through a process called compilation. Now what a compilation does, it converts all your English whatever code you have written down in English, it will convert that into what? Zeros and ones. See, the first step, what we do, we start writing the Java source code. That's what I'm doing it here. I opened up the tool, I created class A, curly braces, public static void main. So we started writing the program, okay, which is nothing but the source code and stored as .java file. Java C, once the source code is returned, you see Java compiler, which is a part of JDK. So the software that I'm going to install now, that will give me a compiler. What this compiler does, the compiler will run Java C command to compile your file. The compiler reads the .java file, checks the syntax for correctness. If there are no errors, it generates the bytecode, okay, with a class file extension. We will all explain this now in layman terms. Bytecode generation, the class file contains bytecode. So how does it generate basically? So it is something like this. Observe here now. So let's go to some IDE and let me just show you few things here now. So whenever you generate a bytecode, can you tell me in high level manner, right, how a bytecode is generated? For example, I have 10. And if I tell you to convert this integer value 10 to bytecode, what you will do? You will start dividing this number by 2. You will divide 2 5s are 10 and you will write the remainder here, that is 0. Am I right? This is what you will do it. Then you will now divide 2 2s are 4 and the remainder is what? 1. Then you will divide 2 1s are 2, okay, and the remainder is what? 0. So the byte code for 10 is, you will write it like this in this direction: 1 0 1 0. Now this is the byte code for what? 10. But if you observe now, I've converted the integer value 10 to byte code. But my question is now, when I write Java code, class A, can you now tell me how this particular program is converted to bytecode? Because I don't have a number here. All I have here is alphabets. How do I convert alphabet A to bytecode? Question number one. How do I convert alphabet C to bytecode? How do I convert alphabet L to bytecode? Huh? So what happens here now, if you carefully observe, let me just create one file for your explanation. I'm going to create here one Java file, and in this I will write main method, right? Now I'll write int x, but I'm going to store in that int x, I'm going to store in that letter A. Now you notice I'm storing letter A inside int x. Now when you do this, automatically what will happen now, this letter A is converted to a Unicode value called as 97, which means every alphabets, every characters that you're writing in Java program has some numerical representation. If I run this now, for letter A, I'm going to get a numerical value that's called as 97. You see this here now? Yeah. If I now write here C, so A is 97, B is 98, and C is 99. So C is going to now print 99. Correct? Same way, even if I write here opening curly braces, now see that it prints 99. If I go with D, 100. So all that alphabets that I'm typing there while writing my Java code, internally there is a numerical representation for it. Got it? Here, if I use curly braces, observe this curly brace. Also, when I run, it has a numerical representation associated with it. Now the question arises, why there is a numerical representation? Okay, you see that opening curly brace and this is closing curly brace. Observe, I have here again 125. Now opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis. Observe, the closing parenthesis now, it gives us the output here, which is 40. So whatever I'm typing here in Java, whatever I'm typing here now, for every alphabet, for every, okay, you know, the symbols that I'm using here like curly braces, semicolon, parenthesis, there is a numeric value. Why is there numeric value? Because, see, what will happen behind the scene during compilation in high level manner is, This letter C it will pick. Letter C has a numerical representation. If A is 97, B is 98, C will be what? 99. Now this 99 I will divide by 2. And when I keep dividing by 2, what I will get is the byte code. And this byte code is what we are going to store that into our dot class file. Did you understand this now? Yes, everyone clear with this? So this process of firstly checking your file, is there any syntax error in it? I've missed semicolon, I've missed closing curly braces. Firstly, your compiler will check whether there is any syntax error. And if there is no syntax error, then your compiler does a compilation using a command called as Java C. Now, this compiler to be installed in your computer, you have to download a software called as JDK. When you download the software called as JDK, it will give us a compiler, and the job of this compiler is to convert your complete code into byte code, which will be now translated into zeros and ones. That's why the byte code means binaries, and this byte code will be stored. If this is a.java file, your byte code will be stored as a.class file. Sir, why bytecode? What is the reason behind it? Because only once we have binaries, we convert the binaries to signal. Correct? So when now we have the bytecode, we will run this bytecode. And to run this bytecode, we require JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Now, the job of this Java runtime environment is read these binaries, and based on the binaries, it's going to form what? Signals. And these signals is what your computer can basically understand and do the required things for you. So this is a high level manner which you have studied in your college days as well, most of the people. Correct? So in your Java program, the first thing that happens is compilation. Compilation is a process of converting your source code into bytecode. Source code here is nothing but class A curly braces. Bytecode means zeros and ones. Then to run this bytecode, we require JRE. I hope this part is clear. All of you online students, did you understand this part? Please tell me. Now, go back here. Just see what it says now. Okay. Now, what are the Java code is converted to bytecode through a process called compilation. Did you understand this line now? Right? So, write Java source code. Okay. Where we are storing the file as .java. The Java compiler, okay, once the source code is returned, the Java compiler, which is a part of JDK, you run Java C command to compile your Java file. So once your Java file is compiled, we get the bytecode file, which is .class file. Now, the bytecode generation, the .class file contains a bytecode, which is a set of instructions that are platform independent, okay, and designed to execute by Java virtual machine. Got it, everyone now? So this bytecode to execute now, okay, your Java virtual machine, right, will execute, but for that we require a Java runtime environment, JRE. So JRE is responsible for running your bytecode files. So bytecode is not specific to any operating system or hardware. Okay, so this is platform independent. These .class files can be understood by any operating systems, whether it is Java, whether it is Windows, whether it is Ubuntu, whether it is Linux, or whether it is Mac. Any operating system can understand that. Okay, once the .class file containing bytecode, okay, you can run it using JVM, which will interpret, compile the bytecode into machine code specific to the systems it's running on. So we will talk more about it in a detailed manner one by one later. But in high level manner, what's happening? I hope you people got an idea about it, that what is compilation and what do you mean by running it. And for this, we will download JDK. So the first step is to download JDK. So let's go online and type here download JDK. Fine. Click here and you see that there are different versions of JDK that has been available. We have JDK 23, JDK 21. Now, if you want an older one, you can also get that. But JDK 23, if you want to download that, you can go and download it from here for Linux, for Mac and Windows. I'm on Windows, so I'm clicking on Windows tab. Fine. And then after I have this installer file here. Fine. I have this installer file here. I'm clicking on this .exe file. or I can use this MSI installer. Click on this and the downloading of JDK has just started. Fine. So installer file means double clicking on that installation will begin. Is this clear, everyone? Once you have downloaded this now, the first step what you need to do is download JDK. Now, this Java 23 that you have downloaded, double click on that and the installation would begin. Click on run and then after that next, 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 next and then finish. Okay. So there is no rocket science here. By installing this, there are two important things I'm getting it. One is the compiler and the other one is the runtime environment. Compiler, which compiles your Java code to .class file, and runtime environment that is going to run your .class file. Okay. So for that, I'm downloading this software. Downloading JDK latest version will also support us to write all that Java code of version 8, which is very frequently asked interview question. Java 8 features. So if you download this Java 8 features, we can practice here also, nothing to worry. Okay, click on close. Now once the installation is done, you can cross check that. Just go to your C drive. Just go to your C drive, guys. And then after that, go to program files and you see your Java folder. Open that up. You see JDK 23 just now installed. Okay, 4th Feb 2025. 12:59 matching to my system time. Lot of JDKs are there. You can install any number of JDKs. You can also have JDK 8, 17, 11, 21, 22, 23. Okay, all you can have it in your system. Is this clear? By default, when you install JDK, this is the path. You can come here and check that. Fine. Where is it? Under C drive, program files in Java. Now, once this installation is done, now go online and download an IDE. So, what is happening? In layman terms, beginners understand what's happening. I have the operating system. Which operating system I'm using right now? I'm using Windows. But when we deploy our application, very commonly used will be Linux. Right? Linux will be more popular when the deployment of the softwares are going to be done. But for now, I'm using what? Windows. Now on the Windows operating system, what is that I installed? What is that I installed? Can you tell me? I installed JDK 23. Got it? After installing JDK 23, now you will have to download and install IDE. These are the steps you have to take it. Okay? Because without an IDE, without the JDK, IDE cannot run. IDE is nothing but, okay, a software where Java programs can be written down. Like this is IntelliJ IDE. I'm using this to write my Java program. But this IDE to run behind the scene, this IDE is making use of JDK. So before you install Eclipse, ensure IDE is JDK is downloaded. Before you install Eclipse, ensure JDK is downloaded. Then you download the IDE like Eclipse. Okay? Because Eclipse without JDK, you will not be able to install. Okay? Now, the next step, let's go here. Now I'll go online and type download Eclipse. Fine. Click here, and just see for the latest version. Fine. So we have install IDE packages. Click on download. Okay, 2025 version. Click here and download. You see that download x8664. I'm clicking on it and I'm downloading it. Okay. Let's see whether the download begins. If not, let's click here and the downloading started. This is also an executable file, which means double click on that and install. So installations are easy. Fine. Installations here are easy. Now once we install JDK, now I'm downloading Eclipse, then we will configure our Eclipse with the required JDK. Now in my system, there are so many versions of JDK. I've got 17, I've got 21, I've got 22, I've got 23. Which version of JDK do you want your Eclipse to run with? We can configure that. Fine. Let's continue from here further. I hope online students, you're all able to understand. Okay. Now the next thing, okay, next thing, downloading almost done. Now double click on this file. Okay, double click on this file, click on run. Okay. Now the first window that will open up, no, there will be written down. If it is a beta release, right, then do not use that. Okay. If it is written down beta release of the software, then it is still in the testing phase. Do not use that. Okay. Is this clear? Do not use that. Okay. Now you will get this installer, guys. Now don't be in hurry. What students will do, directly the first one that they see, click on that and install that off. Read it carefully. The first flavor of Eclipse IDE is only to write Java programs, right? It is for only Java developers. But what if I want to write Java code and web code? Like I want to use web services, JPA, I want to use, HTML pages, all of that I want to build along with Java. Then go with the second option, Eclipse IDE, back Eclipse IDE for enterprise Java and web developers. If you don't install this, then later when we start with web development, if you install the first one, later when I start with web development, you will not be able to do it. Okay, so I'm selecting the second one. Once you click on that, right folder cannot be created. It's in read only. Okay. So let me change this folder. Let's create a new folder here. Let's do one thing. I'll create a folder 2025 hyphen 18. Right. I had some issue. So part does not exist. Right click, new. Let's create a folder 2025 hyphen 18. I'll select this and I would like to install in that folder. I had some installation already earlier done. You can have any number of, that folder installation was done by default. I changed the folder. Now you notice by default, I'm using Java version 21, which is present in my C drive, program files, Java, JDK. So this is going to use which one? 21. If you want other one, then select this. Whichever version you want, you can select that. And by default, your Eclipse will get configured with that. We can also later change this. After launching Eclipse, I can make Eclipse to use a different version of Java to run the program. I'll show you that as well. Click on install. And after installation, so this will take a bit of time for the installation to happen. So this will take a bit of time. Okay. So while this is getting installed, will not waste time. I already have Eclipse in my system. You can install any number of time Eclipse you want to, right? I already have one version of Eclipse. I'm launching that. So after installing, you will see an icon here. You will see an icon here. Click on that and launch Eclipse. Once you launch Eclipse, the very first window that you will get is select a directory as workspace. What is this workspace? Read this here. Eclipse ID uses workspace directory to store its preferences and development artifacts. In layman terms, whatever projects that I'm going to now develop will be present in this path. G colon slash October 1st. Now, if you want to change that, you can do that. You can go here, you can create another folder, right click, then you go to new, and then create a folder which I will call that as Jan. Okay, underscore, underscore, third batch. Now, what will happen? By doing this, what's going to happen is this. Whatever programs now, okay, it got created inside October. Hold on. I will create a separate folder here called as new folder, and I will call that as Jan underscore third underscore batch. Okay, underscore batch. Fine, select this, and now you notice what will happen when I do this. Whatever project code I'm going to write, whatever projects I will now develop in Eclipse, by default, it will be present inside this folder. Fine, click on launch, and that will launch Eclipse. Meanwhile, the installation is happening here. I'll not waste time. Let this happen. You will see here as well a launch button. If not, you can see here an icon. Once installed, double click and do the same thing. You will see Eclipse window to be like this. Close the welcome screen, and then you can create your first project just by going to file, what? File, here, then go to new, and then go to file, go to new, and then you will select here Java project. If not there, just go to others and type here Java, and select Java project and click on the button next. Now give your project a name. Okay, so I'll give this project a name, app underscore Java underscore 1. You see, where is this project getting created? In the workspace. So this is the folder I created initially. So whatever projects I'm creating here, it is inside the folder which I created and selected while launching Eclipse. So this app underscore Java underscore 1 will be inside this folder. Under JRE, I'm using JDK21. Okay, and then you can scroll further down and then click on finish. Okay, click on what? Finish. The project is created. Let's see some of the shortcuts which will be very beneficial for us, right? So whenever you're using any tools, firstly get used to shortcuts, because shortcuts will make your life easier while writing the code in IDE. The next step, I will create a class. So I will right click on SRC, go to new, and I'll select class, give it a name A, enter. Fine. Now to increase the font size, just press Ctrl plus plus. You can set the font Ctrl minus minus, Ctrl plus plus, however you want to. Now if you want to build a main method, just type main and Control, right? See this here, type here main, Control space bar, enter. Fine. If you want to write system.out.println SYSO 100. If you want to run, click on the run button here on the top, and you see the output in your console. You can also run like this, right click, run as Java application, we got 100. Now, some of the very important shortcut key, let's say I have string x is equal to 100. Now, many a times when we see an error, what people they do, they start doing research in ChatGPT and Google. Do not do that. Most of the times when the errors are seen, one of the very important shortcut key in Eclipse is Control 1. Control 1 will suggest you how to rectify this error. If you're working in IntelliJ, Alt Enter. If you're working in VS Code, Control dot. Fine. We are in Eclipse, so we are using Control 1. When I press Control 1, see, it gives me a suggestion. Select, and the error is gone. Did you understand now? Very, very helpful shortcut. Public void test. Now observe, I have an error when I try to return a value. Correct? Now if you want to resolve this error, place a cursor in that line where error is, press Control 1 and you get an option here. Change the method type to int. See, error is gone. So whenever you see any errors, press Control 1. Eclipse will give you suggestions. Eclipse will give you suggestions how to fix that error. If in that suggestions I'm able to fix the error, well and good. If I'm not able to fix the error, then I'll start doing some research. Right? That what went wrong. Fine. Now if you want to format your code, then just press Control Shift F. Control Shift F. That will help you to format the code. If you want to delete a line, place the cursor, Control D. Okay, Control D. It deletes and removes that white space. Okay, see, place the cursor here on second line, Control D. Is this clear, everyone? Everybody got this now? Yes, so keep this tool ready. Going forward, we will practice in Eclipse. Fine. I'll all teach you debugging everything later. As and when we proceed further with the advanced concepts, debugging concepts also I'll be teaching you how to debug the code. Right? So do this much. Be ready with the tool. Tomorrow, we are going to continue, okay, here. And we will explore more about JDK JRE later. There are still concepts of constructors pending. Constructors is not fully covered. Still, there are concepts like default constructors, right? But for that, firstly, we require understanding of what is compilation and running. Okay? So once this idea we have, we can understand the meaning of default constructor. Fine? We will discuss about all these things in the coming series of lecture. I hope today's lecture people have followed. Sir, any difference between online and offline people? There is no difference, guys. Right? Difference is in terms of basically how you're learning. That's it. Because lectures are same, training is same. Now you had this guy who took 17 offer letters the last alumni meet who came. He was an online student. He was not an offline student. Fine. Jitendra, who was a senior, worked for already Dell, and then second company he joined, whom we saw. He was an offline student. So it doesn't matter online, offline. Wherever you are, practice and prepare well. Okay. Last month of your training, if you're interested to come to the academy and give an interview, you can also do that. The choice is yours. But online students, it should not happen that preparation wise, you people are not taking this seriously. Then the challenges is not just for online, even offline candidate. Okay. Best of luck, guys. I will again catch up the next class. That is what? Tomorrow. Huh? JDK? I did not get you. Huh? Huh? Free it is. They're all open source. See, difference between JDK 8 and 23, guys, I will cover this during the lecture. Like what new features were added in Java 21. Major changes was collection concept, data structures. The data structures concept was changed in Java 21. If you go with JDK 8, some features like stream API, optional class, functional interfaces, lambdas expressions, like this, many concepts were introduced in Java 8. But Java 8 is something which, if you observe, it's not something the latest one, it's quite older one. वो भी तो प्लेस हो गया बैंक में सर तो फिर भैया कब आएगा सी वी डोंट फोर्स एनीवन whoever is interested to join the alumni meet they will join. Got it? That's how it is. Now we know some of your friends have got placed. So whenever they're interested to join, they will join us and we will try to interact with him as well. Okay. That if he's free, then we will invite him to join once. Right? So it is their freedom. Got it? Whoever is free that week will come and join us. Some people are busy after joining, so we will not disturb them. Okay. Sir, I have a question. I'm new here. Is there any new batch? बच्चे ने जवाब दे दिया 18th Feb. न्यू बैच 11:30. क्लासेस समझ आ रहा है, मजा आ रहा है, समझ आ रहा है. अब डेवऑप्स जब सीखोगे चीजें और आपको क्लैरिटी देना चालू करेगी. ओके, सो यू विल हैव मोर अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हेन वी स्टार्ट विद डेवऑप्स. दैट्स अगेन वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट. ओके, बाय गाइस.